they're on the court with you, or was that something that you wanted to put an emphasis on going into the game?
No, when you have so many guys that are able to create their own shot, draw a lot of double teams, for me, I'm just trying to play the game the right way and just take whatever the defense gives me. When I get the ball, a lot of those guys, their men kind of relax sometimes, and Joe does a great job of cutting, and James and Kevin the same. So anytime I can make the right basketball play, that's what I'm going to do.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Deandre. Obviously, there's a lot of guys on this roster that have played big games and in high leverage moments. But for a team that's young in terms of what they're trying to put together, kind of in terms of their gelling process, what's the value in winning big games like this down the stretch late against top competition?
I think it's huge. We stayed the course. We had a lead there in the third quarter. Then they made a run, and I think they tied it at 110. But then, like I said, we stayed the course. We knew that ultimately we had to get stops, and that's what it was going to come down to. And we had a group that was out there, and we kept our poise. And we're going to win games big. We're going to win games ugly, and a lot of those games are going to come down to the wire. And we're building, and we haven't even really had a lot of time to practice with a full group. And once we have that and we build some more chemistry on the defensive end, because we know that this team can score, that's when I think we'll take off.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Deandre. These last two games that you've had, it's kind of been, double tonight is the first of the season. Last game, you also had, I think, 12 rebounds or so. Would you attribute these last two games to just there being more minutes available now that Jared is no longer here, or do you think you have taken either your game to another notch or you picked up where you were before?
I think it's a combination of all those things. When you obviously have a player like James added to the lineup, it's more focus on them offensively. So, a lot of things free up for you. But for me, I just, want to come out and give us everything I have on the defensive end. That's my job. Control the rebounds as much as I can, play great defense, and get my teammates open. That's my job on this team, and I want to continue to do that and get better at it every game.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Deandre, you just kind of touched on this about James's impact, freeing up other guys. What did you think of Jeff and Joe's game? That they didn't miss for a while, and it seems like every time you needed to play from one of them, they got it.
We know Jeff is a veteran. He's been around for a very long time, and he's a hell of a player, a hell of a, he does whatever you need him to do. He plays some 5, 4, 3. He's just a great guy to have on your team. He's a great guy. And Joe is just, he's just a hard playing blue collar guy, knocks down shots, plays great defense. He's hard nosed, and it's really easy when he's coming off those picks and knocking down shots. But he's going to do anything that you ask him to do. A lot of guys on this team are like that, and we're really a selfless group, giving ourselves up. And like I said, when you have a team like that, the sky's the limit for us.
Rachel Nichols with ESPN.
Hey, DJ.
Hey, Rachel.
Hello. Doing a project on Kobe Bryant, and I'm asking guys what they remember from the very first time they played him, and especially you being in LA at the time. I assume it was your rookie year. What do you remember from that first game?
I remember we got our ass kicked. I remember that. But Kobe was, extremely great competitor, cared a lot about the game, cared a lot about other players too. And I remember my rookie year, I was 19, like I said, they smacked us up pretty good. And after the game, he told me to keep working. I'm going to be a hell of a player. And for me, that was huge to hear that. I remember going right into the locker room, and I texted my brothers like, "Yo, you never believe what Kobe told me." And I'll never forget that moment. And I'll never forget the ass whippings that they gave us. But just to be able to play against him all those years and a lot of those battles, it was I'm humbled to say that I was able to play against him. I'm grateful.
Thanks.
Steve Lichtenstein with WFAN.
Hi, Deandre. Can you just describe the impact that Bruce Brown has when he gets on the floor, and does the team feed off his intensity?
Bruce is a dog. He's a pest. I'm glad that he's with us. He picks up 94 feet up the court. He's a hell of a defender. He's extremely tough, strong, and he keeps a lot of plays alive. A lot of offensive rebounds. He's in there battling with bigs and getting offensive rebounds, putbacks, picking up guys, guarding multiple positions. So he's going to be a player that we're really going to need down the stretch. I'm happy that he's here.
And last question, we'll go back to Christian Winfield with the Daily News.
Hey, DJ, you touched on Joe a little bit, but a minute and 5 seconds left in that game, he comes down and hits a big three that puts you guys up 122 to 121. Kevin said earlier this season that for this team to win big games, Joe is going to have to hit big shots. I'm just wondering if you could kind of relive that shot for me and just like talk about what it's like to watch him, who's not one of these superstar guys on this team, hit such a superstar type shot.
I mean, that's the thing about Joe. He doesn't care about, being a so-called superstar. He's going to do his job every night. And, just like Kevin and anybody else, James, when those guys shoot shots, I think they're going to go in. When Joe shoots a shot, I'm like, I don't even need to crash the glass. I know it's going in because I'm that confident in his shooting capabilities. And, he's going to be able to do that for us every night. And once he does that, the floor opens up for guys like James and Kevin and Jeff and guys to drive to the basket and get easier looks because, teams don't want to give up open shots to Joe. So, the more shots that he takes, the more it's going to be better for our team.